Welcome to the Power of Local podcast, where we discuss all things local business, and we are always vocal for local. Hi, I'm Rebecca Melanson, and I'm here today in the Power of Local podcast with my partner, Vicki Valdez. We are both partners at the Local Business Institute, and today we kind of want to tell you our story, right? Local business all has a story. Everybody has a story, which makes it so.
Who are we?
But we have a story too. And we thought we would share our story with you because we haven't been around that long that you may not know about it. So we started, oh my gosh, Vicki and I have been working together for 25 years, 30 years in
At least.
something like that.
Yes.
So we know each other really well. And we used to always talk about things that needed to be done for local business. I ran a local business organization in Austin, Texas, and Vicki ran the small business program at the city of Austin. And we were always coming up with ideas of, what's needed is this and that. And of course, the answer was, that's true, but I'm at capacity. I can't take on another thing. And it became those kind of proverbial somebody needs to go do this.
Somebody needed to. But, yeah, but it was also, Rebecca, from the thought of not only from the background that we had, but we're both entrepreneurs. We both had businesses for many years, and in having those businesses, we were always saying to ourselves, even though the roles that we had over the years, saying somebody else needs to do this.
Right.
Somebody else needs to do this, because there was gaps in what local businesses were asking for, what we saw that they needed, what we needed as entrepreneurs or as local business owners, that we needed that was not met. So,
Absolutely. Well, then the pandemic came along, which,
sure.
as we know, changed everything on the planet. But we both found ourselves footloose and fancy free. I resigned the position I was in, Vicki retired. And we started thinking, those conversations we used to have about what local business needs and somebody needs to do it. We need a local business institute that will take these up and do some of these things. And you know who that local business institute needs to be? Needs to be us.
Yes.
And that's how the Local Business Institute was formed, out of a need that we saw that wasn't being fulfilled on the local level, on the state level, on the national level, with having so much experience and working with so many small local businesses. We kind of felt like we knew the turf and we knew what they needed. We heard it every day and knew what was available and what wasn't. So
What was, Rebecca, we worked with a lot of organizations. You mentioned local, state, and national. And, yes, they provide some great services or some great resources to local businesses, but there were still gaps. We were still finding gaps in that ecosystem of all the resources that were available for local businesses.
Exactly. So being our entrepreneur selves, we just picked up that mantle and said, hey, let's go do this. And we did. So that's our story, our backstory of how the Local Business Institute got formed. We pulled together our decades of experience with thousands of small local businesses and said, what do they need that's not out there? Because the last thing we want to do is duplicate something and duplicate something that's being done and being done well. There's no reason for that. Who wants to do that anyway? I want to go out and be a real help to people. So we pulled together the Institute and started thinking about, okay, let's look at what they need. Well, one thing was training. I mean, we found there's so much training out there, as everyone knows, but most of it is written for medium, and by medium, I mean huge in my standard of small business, to large business. And small business just has to kind of find little scraps or tidbits that they can pull out and figure out how to use because they don't have a marketing department on the third floor or an HR.
Third floor, yes.
And some of it is just overwhelming. And we thought, you know what? We speak local. And we need to speak local in training and write training specifically written for small local business because They need their own training. So we did. And now it's the LBI. By the way, we call her Libby, and we love that she has a female name of Libby, LBI. So it's the LBI virtual campus that has all kinds of training and resources online on demand. You don't, I mean, we know you all want to talk to us, but you don't even have to talk to us. You can take this in the middle of the night if you want. Makes it
Hmm.
super, super, super easy. We have 10 classes now, soon to be 12, and it's growing every day. So that was one of our first big resources. Let's write this in local, write it in small local,
Write it in local.
address the things that they really need and what we know we can offer that is not out there in any way that we can find. So that was step one, but we grew from that, right? I mean,
We
I,
sure did. We've got other resources that we offer, and then we act as a voice for local businesses.
we absolutely do. So advocacy is a big one. We work with other national organizations because I personally do not want to be in Washington, D.C., working on policy. Not my thing. But so many people are so good at it, and we work with them. And that makes it a good thing for you. We also do coaching. Take advantage of us. I mean, how often do you hear that, right? We have lots and lots of years of coaching experience. So pick our brains, get our help. It's all here and it's all for you. And that will be an easy thing for you to do. We have something called the local first community, right? You hear us talk a lot about community on the podcast. And it's so important that we have pulled together segments of the local business community of local businesses, but also organizations that support them. So independent
Support them,
business
yes.
alliances and small chambers and collectives and merchants associations and anybody who represents small local business. Because to me, the best way we can help local business is to help those organizations already on the ground in all their communities who are already helping. So let's help the organizations help the local businesses. And that just works for me. Plus, it's a great community. I get to hear
It is. It
from
is.
all over the country about what's happening, what's needed, what's not happening sometimes. But it's a great resource to fill us in on our own advocacy. And there's so much to be done, and it takes us all. And advocacy is kind of the one thing that I feel like it's much harder to do by yourself. It's easier to do with a group.
It
And
is. It is.
something I've been involved in for many, many, many years. And it's always feels like an uphill battle. But you know what? You are not alone. All you local businesses
Not at
out,
all.
you're not alone
Not at all.
because you have us and many others
Hmm.
fighting the good fight for you. And that's a large part of what we do. But one last thing that I would like to mention is we have something really fun on our website. And for many, many years, for 25 years, maybe 30, the local business, like the buy local movement, has been really active, right? I was part of it in the very beginning. And we encourage people around the country to buy local, buy local, buy local, buy local. You
Buy
know what?
local.
Everybody listens. And now everybody talks about local. And there's even local washing from people who aren't local trying to act like they're local. But it's a thing now. But what is the next step from buying local? What does that look like? You know what it is? It's to live local.
To live local. Absolutely.
And we have the Live Local pledge on our website that we would love, love, love for each of you to go sign up to Live Local. So, what does Live Local really mean? Want to take a stab at that one, Vicki?
Oh, living local means actually not only being a part of a community, but also, going to the establishments, choose to buy local, getting to know your local businesses, living local. I mean, live it every day, changing your mindset, if you will, from thinking about a big box to saying, I know a local business that can get this for me, or let me go visit with so and so and they see what they could help me out with.
And it's about, yes, it's about buying, but it's about so much
Mhm.
more than that. It's also services. We tend to focus on retail a lot, but
Retail lot,
services
yes.
are just as local. And it's about what can you do for your community? You know, how can you
Good
be
point.
a
Yes.
part of your community and living local? A lot of people volunteer at all kinds of things. A lot of people just quietly put out, for a long time, there were the little libraries in front of people's houses,
Oh,
with
yes, yes, yes,
people
yes.
could
I see
have.
those in my neighborhood. Yes.
And now people are putting out little food pantries out front.
Mhm.
Like, what a lovely thing to do, that you can either bring food if you want to put something in it, or if you need food, you can just walk by and get it. I mean, that's living local. That's that's what it's all about. So, how do you live local, Vicki?
Geez. Most of it is just, when you said services a minute ago, some of the services that provide, when I think back, I just, I now am um, I'm more specific in what I look for whenever I'm going to buy a service. Again, back to buying anything that I need here in the family. I will first and foremost go to be mindful to go and get somebody who's a small business owner versus somebody who's a chain, a big name that's throughout the country or throughout our area.
I do the same thing. That to me is the first and foremost filter, right? Are you locally owned? And I loved years and years ago when I was first involved in the buy local movement, you used to see newspaper ads and type at the bottom, it would say family owned and operated. Remember when you used to see that on things? Well, I knew
Yes.
that
They moved away from it for a while.
they did, but then they moved to locally owned. And I
Yes.
knew that the message had sunk in when I was in the car one day and there was a commercial on the radio. And, radio advertising is very expensive. And you have
Yes.
seconds, like 15 seconds, right? And so you have to think about what is the most important thing to say right off the bat, because you only have them for a few seconds. And I was listening, and the commercial came on, and the very first thing they said was, "We're locally owned." And I was stunned and so happy, because what that
Hear
tells
that? Yes.
is that to this business, that was the most important thing to tell a customer. And they're not just making this up, it's a value now. This is what people value. And they wouldn't have said it if they didn't think it would resonate
And
with
they didn't think it
customers.
was. That's exactly right. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just thought, okay, message received, we've got it. But all of that and so much more is who Libby is and what we do, And you're looking at Libby right here on the screen, just the two of us. And but we are absolutely here for you always. We're always looking to do new things. Again, we're entrepreneurs, so we love shiny new ideas, and we pick them up and turn them over. And
Sometimes too many. Yes,
sometimes too
sometimes too
many,
many, but
especially
yes.
me. I'm so guilty. I love new ideas. Um, but Vicky has the reins on that. So she does a good job of sometimes looking at me saying, "Okay, Rebecca, we can do 4 out of 5 things, but we can't do all 5." I'm like, but I want.
Let's give that other one a minute. Let's just give it a minute.
Yes, give it a minute. I'm not a patient person, so I've learned to give it a minute. Thank you for that. But we're here for you. Look us up, get involved with us, get involved with your community.
Check out our website. We have it listed here.
That we absolutely do. Email us, communicate.
Email us. Mhm.
Just a simple email at podcast@localbusinessinstitute.org. I read every single one of them. So you will be heard. If there's something you want addressed or something, questions you have, or anything at all, just reach out to us. We're here for you. And until next time, be vocal for local always. Y'all take care. Bye bye. Thank you for joining us today for the Power of Local podcast, where we encourage you to always be vocal for local. See you next time.